All right. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to discuss episode 7 of The Acolyte.
Heck yeah, we are.
Episode is called Choice. We just watched it together. And you want to open with your thoughts, my friend?
So, we started doing these videos after the episode that showed us these events.
From OSHA's perspective.
From OSHA's perspective.
Yeah.
So, I didn't get to share my thoughts on
let's
that
start
stuff at that time. Child actors, for the most part, in my opinion, aren't great. I'm not here to throw shade at children or anything. I'm just saying, as a general rule of thumb, in my opinion, child actors aren't very good usually.
I think that is an important thing to keep in mind when watching a child actor, because a lot of people get mad at a child's performance,
and I'm not mad. I will say, this show does nothing to dispel that belief that most child actors aren't very good. Yeah. I'm just going to say that. It doesn't make me mad that these kids aren't very good actors.
And it shouldn't make anyone mad.
It shouldn't make anyone mad. No one should get angry at children for just doing what they're told to do, and you know, they gave the performance that was asked of them.
People hated Morgan Stark.
So,
remember?
Yeah.
She was cute.
So, it does take me out of it a little bit when they're in a scene. That being said, my initial reaction to this episode is I was very excited going in, knowing that we were finally seeing these events from another perspective. And I know that Torben, the Padawan, he took off on a speeder, which caused a domino effect.
Yeah.
Is that really enough to like this guy killed himself? This guy committed suicide because of the guilt he felt, and I'm just like,
50 women were there, and they all died.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like,
I feel like
they all died. Is it, what's her name, Indara?
Yeah.
Is that Trinity's name in this?
I think so, yeah.
Indara.
Yeah.
When she severed the connection between the witches and Kelnaka,
it killed them.
It killed them. Like, their consciousness was just boom, severed.
Yeah.
And they all just collapse.
And die, yes.
And die. Okay.
I feel like Indara was probably looking for, trying to break the connection, and in a heated moment like that, you want to free your friend as soon as possible, and she didn't see another way to
I get that. I'm not saying... Yeah. I'm not vilifying her for doing...
Right.
Kelnaka was...
He was a machine, which was really cool.
That was awesome to see. To see the Wookiee Jedi, just swinging his lightsaber around.
Yeah. Let's get back to that in a minute.
Okay.
What's your...
I didn't necessarily see anything in this episode where I was like, man, 16 years from now, he should, I can understand him killing himself.
Right. Well, I think that a person being involved in a cover-up of 51 deaths, including a child, might be affected some way by it.
Well, the child didn't die.
Well, he didn't know. Well, I guess he did find that out in the last moment.
Yeah, he did know.
But he ruined her life. He ruined this child's life, whom he thought he was responsible for the death of, and he covered it up, and 50 women died. I think that's a decent reason for someone to be emotionally affected.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess my point is, I was expecting a little more oomph with the reveal, and I didn't quite get it. It is what it is. This is the story they're telling. It's not turning me off from the show. I'm still enjoying the show.
Yeah.
I think more of the guilt lies with, I think, Soul.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he was the one spearheading we have to test these girls. We have to bring them back. We have to free these girls.
He felt they were in danger.
So
he was trying to protect them.
He saw from the jump. He viewed it as they were in danger. They were girls. They were little girls that needed to be rescued.
Yeah.
And that's the only way he saw it, rather than viewing this as another culture.
Yeah.
So it was a little like, made me take a step back on Soul.
Yeah.
Like, I've loved this guy from the jump, and it's made me take a little step back because he was very disrespectful of another culture.
Okay. He had a very small glimpse of it. He saw the girls get yelled at and be attacked by their parental figures. So he was scared for them for that reason. And some of the stuff, he just was eavesdropping, I think, at the worst possible times. So it just painted a really ugly picture for him.
Speaking of that, how was he eavesdropping?
The Force.
Because he was breaking and entering.
Yeah.
He was breaking and entering.
See, now you're making an assumption about a culture because he's a Jedi on a mission inside Republic space. I think he's allowed to do that.
I don't think he is.
I
think this is part. I think this is part of what we're supposed to be looking at with this series.
That's fair. I don't want to defend the bad things the Jedi do. I do feel like you're going to go a little bit harder on them than I would want to, so I might become a devil's advocate sort of role there. But
yeah, I'm just. He
was overstepping.
He broke into their home. I understand him like following them home and seeing where they go, but at that point he should have gone back and gotten Indara.
Yeah.
And come back and rang the doorbell.
I'm with you. I do think he was a younger Jedi. He was I'm assuming based on the conversations, he was a young knight who hadn't taken a Padawan yet. Not very seasoned, kind of like Yord was earlier in the show. So he was pretty impulsive, and he did... Like this digression began, it was pretty much all his fault that all these people died. And you could say that Torben eventually committing suicide was also Soul's fault. Because
all it takes is one domino, you know.
Though it's important to note that Anaya, I wrote it down, and I don't know how to read what I wrote.
Are you talking about the mother?
Yeah,
that's mother.
She went into Torben's brain and manipulated him and tempted him and was really attacking his
First of all, I wish I could be tempted like that.
Yeah,
Mother Anasea, Jodie Turner-Smith is.
She's a lovely woman who we respect. Awesome.
Great actress, very beautiful.
When she said Neil, he said yes, ma'am.
But yeah, so
all the more reason that it's bad to manipulate and coerce someone.
Yes, it is.
So I think her trying to protect her children and manipulating the Jedi kind of spurred events that caused them to. So maybe the Jedi started it. But the Jedi went over the line, then she went over the line, then the Jedi went over the line again. And so it was just kind of them trying to do the right thing and both failing.
I get it. She's trying to protect her daughters, but also the other witches.
True.
And honestly, has it ever been confirmed that her and the other witch are together?
I don't think they said it out loud.
They're both They're both the mothers of May and Osha.
Yeah. And they have kind of a quasi.
It's been kind of implied.
Yeah.
If I'm mistaken and it was outright stated, I missed that. I'm sorry, but Mother Anasea should have gotten her in line because she was doing stuff.
Yeah, she was going against.
She got May all worked up.
Yeah,
and be mad, get mad, and got her all hyped up.
One thing I liked about that was she said the Jedi won't warn you before they attack, and then she attacks May, and May defends herself. So throughout the show, they've really hammered home that Jedi don't attack unarmed people, and they're very big about that. And then Soul, when fighting the Iridonian lady, whom I forget the name of, he didn't even activate his lightsaber because he didn't want to fight her.
I thought that was awesome.
That's good.
I think it goes a long way. And Soul is, in my opinion, from what I've seen with my own two eyes, a great duelist.
Yeah.
He's great at hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
Even just the way he's avoiding combat when fighting her. He's clearly she's swinging for the fences and he's just sidestepping and grabbing. She does get some licks in.
Yeah.
She does get some licks in, but for the most part, he's like dodging and grabbing it like without using a weapon.
It reminds me of Vader when he was fighting the Inquisitor in Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and then, well, yeah. So then Soul, when Torben and Soul get there, Mother Anastasia, what is that like? Turning into mist?
Yeah, that's what drove Soul to act. That really set the whole thing off. She just like turned into like smoke, and then May started turning into smoke.
Yeah,
and he was like, I don't know what's going on, but it doesn't look good.
And I do think it's important to note, he thought it was Osha.
He did think it was Osha.
Yeah, he thought it was Osha at that moment.
When they said their symbionts is identical, I wonder if that's why he couldn't tell them apart through the Force. Boom.
Oh, that should explain it. That's a good pickup.
Yeah,
that's a good pickup. That should explain why.
I just thought of it while we were talking.
Why? Because that solves an issue that I had with the last episode, with Soul not being able to tell that it was May instead of Osha. That is great.
Yeah, after they do the blood test, Torben says their symbionts is identical, and normally identical twins would have different symbionts.
But yeah, because they were created by the Virgins, and it was like, how does Indara say it? One life force,
consciousness split into two.
One consciousness split into two bodies.
I really hope they expound on that.
Same, but and that kind of, I don't know the exact verbiage of their little nursery rhyme that May and Osha say together.
Yeah, right.
But I it made me think of that.
Yeah.
Because like they're saying like it somewhere in there they talked about like we are one and
two as one
and stuff like that. Like it
whatever
just,
they say.
It just, to me, I think it gives new like a deeper meaning to their little nursery rhyme.
Yes.
Like at first it was just like some cute little thing that these little twins said to each other, but knowing that they're basically the same life force split into two different bodies, that gives a little deeper meaning to that.
That sort of naturally connects to two things I want to touch on. When do we think Osha and May are going to be reunited, like into one person, or into one life force? That could be interesting. Thoughts on that? And second, the song at the end. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's start with are you talking about the song during the credits?
Yeah, the song during the credits.
Let's start with the negative first. Get that out of the way. I didn't like it.
It's not really my kind of...
I'll be honest with you. I don't love modern music in Star Wars. This was the first time I've ever heard that, and I didn't really care for it. Like, I'm more of the like classical and instrumental stuff. Like, I didn't like hearing like a modern song.
Yeah, and had kind of a modern riff in it.
Yeah,
but modern vocals.
But the lyrics of it definitely speak to the twins and
I made sure we listened to pretty much the whole song, because I was like, if it's all about the show, I'm fine with it. But if they're like, then I was driving my car like down Ventura Boulevard, I'd be like, I don't know if they're in Star Wars all of a sudden.
All of a sudden Creed starts playing. Can you take
me higher?
We can't pay for that, so.
Well, we didn't sing it good enough to have to
that's
pay
true.
For it,
did he?
So I just want to say I didn't mind it. I didn't hate the song. I'm not gonna add it to my Spotify playlist. And it feels out of place in Star Wars. Yeah. But since it was all about Star Wars, and Star Wars is a big galaxy with lots of planets and lots of cultures and lots of music, who's to say that this wouldn't be playing at some cantina somewhere in the galaxy?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, probably not this song about these girls. That wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah. But man, this person's deep about some twins. And...
Yeah, misconstrue the lyrics all over the place.
But yeah, I did like that at least the lyrics made sense for this show.
Yeah.
And then the other thing you mentioned was, them That I didn't even think of that, but that would be cool if like maybe one of them dies, and their life the other one absorbs the life force of the other one.
Yeah. Because May was always like stronger with the Force then.
I mean, and we've already seen something similar to that in Star Wars. At the end of Rise of Skywalker, when Ben Solo heals Rey and basically like
gives the life
gives his life force to her.
Yeah.
So it's again we saw force healing in this show when Chimere healed Osha. So we've seen it. So I could totally see a scenario where one of them
becomes both of them.
Yeah, like where one of them is like significantly injured and on death's door, and the other one sacrifices themselves maybe and gives the other one their life force.
Yeah.
And so now, boom, the one remaining becomes way more powerful and whatnot.
Yeah.
I could totally see that, and I would actually totally be down for that.
Yeah. I feel like... I wonder if that's what the witches were going to do. I agree, though. I think that if they, like, just fuse and become one person, like in Dragon Ball Z, I won't really love that for Star Wars. That'll feel a little too metaphysical.
Yeah, if they just merge, but that's why I'm trying to, like, put it in a situation... a scenario that could happen in Star Wars that makes sense with things that have already been established in the canon.
I think that would... I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Is there a second season of this? Because I feel like they can't wrap this up in one episode. Maybe if it's an hour long.
Yeah, I hope maybe if it's a longer episode.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good point. It does seem like there's still a lot, like, with Osha and Chimere. And I hope the next episode just jumps right in and starts with May's reaction to Soul, like, telling her what happened.
Yeah.
But also, where does Chimere fit into this?
Yeah.
I need to know that part of the mystery. Like,
it
seemed like he knew Soul, and whatnot.
He definitely knew Yord personally.
Like, so I'm just wondering, like, where does he fit into this?
Yeah.
And
it does seem like he knew what happened to the witches too.
What I could totally see is Osha being injured. May sacrifices herself. Now Osha's uber powerful, and I don't know if she takes out Chimere, if she aligns herself with Chimere, something neat. But it is a little weird that, like, it feels like we still have a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah. A
lot of ground to cover, and not that long to do it.
Yeah.
So I am a little concerned about that.
Yeah, I hope that... I mean, I don't love a cliffhanger at the end of a season, but it feels like this is that's what this show needs, is a second season.
It feels like it. I know there's a lot of people out there who would hate to hear that, because
they have to watch it, and if they don't like it, it'll make them mad.
Yeah,
because it's a required thing to watch.
Yeah, because apparently someone's forcing them to watch it, even though they hate it. Yeah. Like, it makes no sense to me. Yeah. If you've given it a couple episodes and you hate it, stop watching. Yeah. It's that easy.
Yeah. You don't have to watch it.
It's that simple.
Yeah. I don't like to hate things.
Yeah.
So if I hate something, I prefer to ignore it.
Yeah.
Unless it's like something I have to do.
Guess what? Huge Game of Thrones fan here.
Yeah.
I watched season 1 of House of the Dragon, and by the end of it, I wasn't in love with it. So when season 2 just started a few weeks ago...
So he went online and he threatened every actor.
Yeah, I started doxing them. No, of course not. I just chose not to watch it.
Yeah.
Like an adult. Imagine that.
Yeah, yeah. You have control over your own life, what you put on your own TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not going on social media every day just talking about how much I hate it.
The tricky part, like Star Wars YouTubers who hate it, like they have to make a video. They actually do have to make videos about it, you know? But now you're spreading hate, and people like hating things. I used to like hating things. It can be fun. I like to complain, but
I like to, as you well know, I like to complain a lot. It feeds my soul. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not gonna hate watch something. Like, if I truly hate it, like I don't know. Maybe those YouTubers that hate this series, maybe they need to figure out a different thing to do with their YouTube channel instead of continuing to post hatred and feed into the toxicity online. That's my 2 cents. Figure out a different grift.
It gets clicks though. It gets watch time.
Unfortunately, it does.
Yeah, I think YouTube needs to change the algorithm. So does everything else. But now we're getting into
getting into a different conversation.
Yeah. So overall, what would you say
for this episode?
Yeah, out of 10.
Out of 10, I'd probably give this one a 6.8.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't my favorite episode, but I mean that's still passing. At least where I like it's above average.
It passes in high school
for me.
Not
so
in college.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, it depends on the class.
All right, I'll give it a 7. Okay.
No, you're good.
It passes. This episode passed. It wasn't my favorite.
I'd give it like a 7.5 maybe.
That's fair. Oh, you know what gets some extra credit for this episode?
The Wookiee fight?
The Wookiee fight. You cut me off.
I'm sorry.
Kel Neca.
I did say we'd come back to
being a badass and like just being angry and rage because he was mind controlled
and like
just the way
the leaps and the
heavy swings with his lightsabers. Oh my god! And the way he was like palming Torben's head. And just oh god, it was so awesome.
It was.
I would be terrified to fight a Wookiee.
Yeah.
I would wet myself.
And at first, I like a part of me wants to go back and rewatch it, but I'm not gonna. When that first jump, did they make the little force noise, or was that just a Wookiee jump? I don't know. Either way, it was bad AF. I did notice they made the like force noise. The subtitles call it warbling.
Yeah.
When he was like even picking someone up and throwing them, it made the noise. Yeah. So just the brute physical strength that he has paired with the force.
Yeah. It seemed cool like his force push was like amplified because of he's just a brute. Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
We've seen physical strength like that with people like Vader and Grievous.
Yeah.
But to see someone who wasn't, half melted, just at full strength going for it, super cool.
Yeah.
I think we could talk about, honestly, the reason I like this episode so much is I took a lot of notes. There's so much we could talk about. We could make an hour-long video easy. Like the pit. Is the pit the Virgins? Is that where the kids came out of? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought this was great. Good, at least.
That's fair. And you're allowed to. I do. Kel Neca gives it a 7.2 in my book. Okay.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So.
Excited for next week.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait for it next week.
And I can't wait to talk to all of you about it next week too.
All right.
Thanks for it.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you as well, my friend. Think about the Jedi Code before you post online. Bye, everyone. We crushed it, baby.
Bro.